So I love discovering new houses, and this house, Obvious Parfums, is a house that I've been eyeing for some time. I actually ended up with all their bottles here, and I've been featuring their fragrances in various videos. I've spoken about the Une Patchouli, I've spoken about the Une Rose, and then also Une Vanille. But they have 7 fragrances here that I'm going to talk to you about from the house of Obvious Parfums. And I like these fragrances because they focus on a specific note, and you know what you're going to get when you actually, get the fragrance with that specific note. You have the woody fragrance, you have the musk, you have the patchouli, you have the spicy black pepper, you have the orange blossom or fleur d'oranger, you have the rose, and then finally the vanilla. So once you get the fragrance, you know what you're going to get into, right? So if you want warm and gooey and gourmandish, go to the vanilla. If you want a sexy, musky, sort of a skin scent, go to the musk, and so on. That's what these fragrances are all about, and I'm going to tell you all about these 7 different fragrances from Obvious Parfums. We have giveaways as well. 2 different giveaways to subscribers of this channel from the USA, thanks to the USA distributor of Obvious Parfums. Look at the bottles. That's what these look like. Let me show you one with a little bit of a darker juice. So if you want to find out about these fragrances and have a chance at winning a bottle or a sample set of all the fragrances, then please stay tuned. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Sebastian with Smelling Great Fragrance Reviews. Yes, today I'm talking about Obvious Parfums. As soon as I saw these fragrances, I was excited about them and wanted to dive into them. And I've been satisfied with what I've been smelling. And even though some fragrances here are a little more subdued than others, I think they are great fragrances. As far as performance goes, I think out of all of the fragrances, I think the loudest is the patchouli. My favorite note, obviously. I love this one. Very earthy, woody, and slightly gourmand-leaning, chocolatey patchouli experience. But all the rest of the fragrances, I think, are pretty solid. It depends on what style you are after or you're looking for. You can, dive into them and check them out. Of course, samples are sold as well, and all that good stuff. But I'll let you know all about these. But before I do, if this is your first time tuning into the channel and you still haven't subscribed, please do click the subscribe button below, and also click the bell so that you'll be notified for future videos and giveaways. So Obvious Parfums has 7 fragrances. I think they just came out with a new one, an 8th one, but I'm talking about 7 of them here for you. 100 ml bottles, 140 eau de parfum concentration. I have a link in the info box to Quintessence, the distributor for Obvious Parfums, and you can go there, and if you wanted to check out with my discount code, it's the Perfume Guy 10. You'll save 10% off of any of the fragrances for Obvious Parfums, or any of the other ones that they have in their website. And as I said, we have a giveaway sponsored by the USA distributor of Obvious Parfums, 1 bottle of choice or 1 discovery set. And what I'll do is I'll randomize the list. First person will have the bottle of choice, second person will have the discovery set. And the discovery set is a great way to learn about a perfume house, with small samples of course, but it's a nice way to learn about the entire house with a sample set. So all the information for the website for this house, the distributor, and all that good stuff is in the info box, and I'll put the discount code there as well. And we're going to go ahead and start off with the Une Bois fragrance, the first one in the collection, and I'm going in alphabetical order. I think what I'll do is at the end of the video let you know what my favorites are, but you know my taste, right? I'm actually really digging this one. Une Bois is a really great fragrance, kind of a more substantial fragrance, when I'm saying more substantial to something like Eccentric Molecules fragrances. There's a lot more going on here, but it kind of wears, molecule-ish like, but with more oomph to it, kind of a thing, So as I said, these are $140 each for a 100 ml bottle, eau de parfum concentration. Une Bois has notes of vetiver, ambroxan, cedar, papyrus, black pepper, Gurjan balsam, and bergamot. For me, this was a woody, musky experience, and this this one actually, even though it smells fantastic, it does remind me of things like Molecule 1, Molecule 2, but with a lot more going on with it, kind of a thing, you know? There's a definite vetiver experience here with this one, but the Ambroxan is pretty prominent, so it does get kind of amber musky, and then there's a cedar note. So it's all about woods here, lots of woods, but it's soft woods. It's not like harsh woods. It's not like screechy woods, just beautifully musky actually. Wears beautifully, and I could see Une Bois being something like a everyday signature scent kind of a fragrance. If you're a fan of things like Molecule 1, Molecule 2, even Molecule 4, the entire collection, but you want a little more oomph to it, you know, you want a little more depth to it, I think this is definitely one for you to try. It's a great musky, woody experience. Une Bois. I think I'm going to continue using this one. I actually wore it to the gym I just started going to a couple times, and I really enjoyed the experience of the while I was wearing this. I know some of you don't like wearing fragrances to gyms. I have no problem with it, and I think this one worked great with me at the gym. So Une Bois is the first fragrance from Obvious Parfums that I'm going to talk to you about today. So the next one I'm going to talk to you about is Une Musc, this one right here. And going back to the Une Bois, I'm not the biggest fan of just straightforward woody fragrances, but I do like that Eccentric Molecules collection of fragrances. And this one, as I said, Une Bois, kind of sort of experiences like it, and that's what I really liked about that one. But generally though, just straightforward woody fragrances are not my cup of tea. You probably noticed that. But musks are definitely my cup of tea. I love musks. And this one is really sexy, soft, and very musky on you when you're wearing it. And it actually is a little subdued. It's definitely a skin scent type of a musk with light projection. But Obvious's Une Musc features notes of Globalide, Helvetolide, Ambrettolide, Muscenone, Vetiver, Amyris, Galbanum, Bergamot, and ginger. So there is some fresh, spicy, elements in this fragrance, but most of it is, synthetic molecules. Globalide, Helvetolide, Ambrettolide, Muscenone, all of those do come in and create a beautiful muskiness with this fragrance. But along the way, you'll experience the vetiver, the earthy, woody qualities. Amyris does come in a little bit. It's a light floral, sweet touch. Galbanum, of course, comes in as well. It does add a light green bitterness. And of course, there's a fresh green citrus and some zingy ginger coming in here as well. Those of you that like musks, a very beautiful, sexy musk. I think this is a great musk, and it's also very sexy for the way it smells. I think you're going to be happy with this one. It doesn't get animalic, which is perfect, but it does work beautifully. At least with me, it worked great. So that's Une Musc from Obvious. Check it out. And again, it's not the most screaming fragrance, but the next one definitely is Une Patchouli, and it's one of my favorite kinds of patchoulis. Patchoulis are always really great fragrances. I love wearing them, but this one I would never wear to the gym. It's really loud. I mean, it's my kind of fragrance. I absolutely love it, but it's pretty intense. And generally, patchoulis do have an intensity to them. And this one doesn't disappoint. It really has a major intensity. But Obvious's Une Patchouli has loads of patchouli, tonka beans, tolu balsam, sandalwood, cade oil, cedar. So it's a woody, earthy experience, but gotta just remember there's that tolu balsam here, and the tolu balsam adds the balsamic touches, and it's a kind of ambery touches because the fragrance does settle to an ambery experience. So this is the point when you'll experience light chocolatey nuances like chocolate cake, amber cake, vanilla cake kind of thing, all because of the sweet notes that are added to the very earthy patchouli here along with the woods. Really beautiful. It's one of my favorite kinds of patchoulis. It's the kind of patchouli that goes chocolate cakey. This one definitely does, but it's that mixture of the earthy, woody, patchouli with the warm, ambery, balsamic notes of the balsamic notes that they have added here. So Une Patchouli, wonderful patchouli. Patchouli lovers, patchos, check this out. If you like fragrances like psychedelic, reminiscence patchouli, things like that, you're definitely going to dig this one because I do recommend it. And as I said, this is the most intense out of the entire collection. Really loud fragrance. And it makes sense because it's a patchouli after all. So that's obvious Une Patchouli. So the next fragrance I'm going to talk to you about is my least favorite note. One of my least favorite notes, sadly. Black pepper or Poivre is not a favorite note. I like it when it's mixed with other notes to create a fragrance. But as a standout note, it's not one that excites me. I don't know why, but it just doesn't. There are a lot of fragrances out there that focus on the black pepper or Poivre, and I just don't have. I don't have much in the way of a Poivre or black pepper fragrance. But this is really, really black pepper forward, but it's also got lots of pink pepper. So Un Poivre from Obvious Parfums features black pepper, pink pepper, vetiver, caraway, ginger, cinnamon, amyris, violet leaf. So this particular fragrance, even though it's really intensely peppery, lots of black pepper, intense amounts of black pepper, you do experience this black peppery touch here, but you also experience the caraway. Like when you first spray this fragrance, it's lots of black pepper and lots of pink pepper mixed with caraway. Caraway has that cumin type touch, not overly cuminy, but you do experience like touches like that, and it's here, and you're experiencing like a juicy form of caraway mixed with the black pepper and pink pepper. For me also, one thing I always say, maybe I haven't said it enough, but black pepper tends to have a very incensey quality and vice versa. Like when I smell incense fragrances, I get a black peppery touch, and then vice versa, when I smell black pepper fragrances, I get an incensey touch. I do experience it here, more of a resin incense rather than smoky incense. But along the way you have the you have the vetiver here. It does get earthy, woody. There's some light zing here as well from the ginger, some spicy touches. Perhaps it does have light ozonic touches as well. Very, very light, not overdose of that. But for me, I think black pepper is so strong, it's overwhelming the particular fragrance. That's why Un Poivre out of the entire collection is my least favorite. Maybe because I'm just not into the Poivre note, the black pepper note, but I felt like out of the whole entire collection, I'm not digging this one as much. But maybe you guys might. Maybe you like black pepper and fragrances. Check it out, Un Poivre from Obvious Parfums. Now the next fragrance I'm going to talk to you about is Obvious's Un Fleur d'Oranger, this one right here. So Fleur d'Oranger is one of my favorite notes. You guys know this, right? But this particular one is not the syrupy kind. It's more of a powdery experience for me. And I don't know what's causing that, but perhaps there's something that the notes are creating a powdery experience. So in the end, it's not a sweet syrupy orange blossom experience, it's more of a powdery experience. It smells great, don't get me wrong, but it does end up being a powdery experience. So the wetness or the sheen or shine, or but the wetness is basically the word I'm saying, is kind of gone. But this one has notes of orange blossom, neroli, bergamot, mandora, ginger, sweet orange, petitgrain, bitter orange, lemon leaf, petitgrain. Lots of notes here. It's great. I had to look up what mandora is. Mandora is a fruit that is a cross between mandarin orange and orange. Love to find some to have, because I've never, although I might have had it when I lived in the Middle East, but apparently it has that note in here. But this, again, it's your, orange blossom, neroli kind of bomb with the citrus fruits joined in with it. And basically, you have all the contrast of the fruits, you have the contrast of the petitgrain note. This also has the lemon leaf petitgrain note, so there's green touches here, the bitter green touches, woody, earthy, sweet, floral. Beautiful fragrance again, but it doesn't happen to be my favorite orange blossom neroli fragrance. I think because it ended up being a little powdery. Either way though, you might dig this one. Check it out, in Fleur d'Oranger from Obvious Parfums. I think it smells great. It does really smell great, but the powdery experience kind of threw me off a little bit. So the next fragrance I'm going to talk to you about from Obvious Parfums is Une Rose, this one right here. I recently featured this in a rose fragrances video where I highlighted spicy rose. This one ended up under the spicy rose. We had green rose and we also had jammy rose. This definitely is a spicy rose because there's a really, really prominent pink pepper note here, and it complements the rose beautifully. I find pink pepper to have light rosy nuances. It makes sense that the two are joined together here prominently. So Une Rose features notes of rose, pink pepper, cardamom, bergamot, tangerine, grapefruit, geranium. So you've got all those notes. It's lightly citrusy, but overly spicy and aromatic. And the rose, on the other hand, it's not necessarily jammy. It has light jammy touches. It's more of a dry, but an overall spicy combination. So if you like spicy rose fragrances, definitely one for you to try. The citruses, you do experience them. There's a little juiciness there, but the bergamot definitely is here. Tangerine is sweet, of course. Bergamot tart, and then grapefruit has the zingy spiciness. So I get an overall spicy, aromatic, citrusy experience with this rose. It's a really great one. I think also the fact that it's not overwhelming and not jammy totally can get away with wearing it when it's warm outside. I think the fragrance will come alive then. So either way, check that out. Une Rose, Obvious Parfums, a great rose fragrance. I do enjoy that one. My least favorite, as I said, is the black pepper or the Poivre, followed by the Fleur d'Oranger, but I don't hate the smell of Fleur d'Oranger. I just felt it was a little powdery. And last but not least, another one that I spoke about recently, I featured it in a new vanilla fragrances video I did. New vanilla fragrances I'm enjoying video I did. This is Une Vanille. So vanilla happens to be one of my favorite notes. I love vanilla. I just can't get enough of vanilla. This vanilla is a musky, warm, and gooey vanilla. And a great thing about this one is the fact that it's not overwhelming. It's a little ambery. It's also powdery. I don't hate powdery fragrances, don't get me wrong. The reason I'm not digging the Fleur d'Oranger as much is because I like it a little more syrupy, citrusy, rather than powdery orange blossom. But I don't hate powdery fragrances. I love it, and especially here, it's a great experience. But Une Vanille has notes of vanilla, tonka beans, Globalide, Muscenone. So Globalide and Muscenone came back again, and it was a star in the Une Musc. So I'm going to lead to something in a little bit. I'm going to tell you about it. But this actually is a very musky experience. You do have light almondy touches running throughout it, but it's a syrupy, powdery, vanillic experience that's to die for, delicious. Now, one thing I forgot to mention, I'm going to tell you right now, I did layer some of the fragrances together, and I kind of have to look up the notes to see what's in there. And I felt immediately Une Musc and Une Vanille work wonderfully together. This already has musks in it, so this just amplifies the muskiness in here, and it increases the life of the fragrance, and you have an overdose of muskiness with the gourmand vanillic touches. So I like this combination. It worked great together. The other thing, and even though I don't care for this particular fragrance as much, the Une Poivre and Une Rose really work wonderfully together. You get more of a spicy rose experience because black pepper and pink pepper are here, and you've got rose and pink pepper here, so it does work wonderfully together. And the other combination that you can do also is with the vanilla and the patchouli. Vanilla patchouli work wonderfully together. You can totally do that. I think I was thinking that patchouli and rose would work as well. I think it was clashing. This did not clash, this combo, the patchouli and the vanille. I think it worked great together. So you can do that as well. So these fragrances are layerable. You can totally do that. And that's the end of my review for all these fragrances. And I'm going to put the list together. So even though I love the patchouli, don't get me wrong, I have a lot of patchoulis like that. I'm going to rank that at number 2. But my number 1 favorite turned out to be the Bois. I just really loved it. It's not overwhelming. It's not a beast or anything. I just wore it beautifully on me. It's lightly musky, it's woody, and again, it reminded me of things like Eccentric Molecules, you know, fragrances, but with more heft to them. So that turns out to be my number 1. My number 2 is, of course, the patchouli. The number 3 is the vanilla. Number 4 is the musk. Number 5 is the rose. Number 6 is the Fleur d'Oranger. Finally, the number 7 is the Poivre. I'm just not a fan of Poivre. I don't know why. I don't know why. Is it a subconscious thing to make me think like I'm going to sneeze or something? Because the smell, you can kind of get that when you're smelling it. It tickles your nose a little bit. But anyway, that's my ranking. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully you guys will go and check out the fragrances of obvious parfums. But now on to the giveaway. This giveaway is open to subscribers of this channel, and all you have to do is let me know what you liked about this review and which fragrance you would pick as your favorite if you ended up winning. And then also please put down your state. This is a USA giveaway sponsored by the USA distributor of Obvious Parfums. Either way, guys, good luck. And as I said, what I'll do is randomize the list. First person that comes up will get the fragrance that they put down that they wanted to win, and then the second person that comes up will get the discovery set. But good luck with the giveaway. As I said, if you have any questions or comments today for Obvious Parfums, please put it down. Have you sampled this collection yet? Do you like the fragrances? And if you haven't, which one sounds the best to you? Which one would you actually sample? Let me know. Put some comments down so I can find out. Either way, guys, appreciate you tuning in. If you have any questions or comments, as I said, please list below. Please like this video. Please share it. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye. I've got one more layering combo for you guys. Another one that I really enjoyed doing was the Une Musc with the Une Fleur d'Oranger. So there's a little bit of a musky touch here, and with Une Musc layered with Une Fleur d'Oranger, it amplifies the muskiness. You do change the smell a little bit because there is some smell in here. Definitely, it's not like a total skin scent. You have a major smell presence. So you do alter the smell a little bit here because this one is a floral fragrance. It's not the most strongest kind of notes in there. So, but it did really beautifully layer perfectly together. And one other layering combo, I think these are perfect to layer. I think the Une Bois and Une Musc really do work wonderfully together as well, because the Une Bois already is a musky, woody experience, and this is a lot of musks and different kind of synthetic musks in here, so the two really do layer beautifully as well. I think this is the one I was really reaching for. Even after I went to the gym, came back and showered, I did this combination. It worked great for me. Anyway, thanks so much for sticking around for the additional video after the outro.